course, episode 7, Chicago is heating up, which really should have been the name of the previous episode, considering there was so much fire, heat, you know what I mean? Guns, grenades, rocket launchers. But hey, I don't write the show, so I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just a humble guy trying to give a review and a bit, you know what I mean? But just finished the episode literally about 30 seconds ago, switched the camera on straight away, thought I'd give everyone a fresh review instead of waiting. Decent episode, man. Decent episode. There was good. There was negatives and positives of it. There was stuff I enjoyed. Some stuff that they probably won't change because it's down to the acting and the writing. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe it's some of the writing in whoever's writing the script and that. But I know that in these kind of TV shows, different people direct different episodes, and I get that, and you can tell the difference sometimes. So this episode is pretty much centered around Tommy and CBI, or Tommy and Diamond and the rest of CBI. And then you got Miguel and you got the Serbs, and then I think it's the Estradas that Miguel works for. And obviously Tommy's master plan, Tommy and Diamond's master plan is starting to put things in work now. So before, obviously the previous episode, the Serbs retaliated to what Tommy said, took out the Crimson Project, blew everything up. And obviously this episode you're waiting for a response for the get back from Tommy and CBI. And they don't do it. They basically wait. They have to get the heads up from Miguel, but they try and take him out a different way. And what he does is he gets Miguel to stop the pipeline to the Serbs for their drugs. So now they have no drugs on the street. Obviously, the master plan in the end is to take over Chicago. So they spend a lot of time in this episode going to the different gangs and trying to have a gang coalition. So once they get them all together, they can take over the rest of Chicago. And then hence Tommy and Diamond and CBI taking over the whole of Chicago and having one connect going forward. Which means obviously eventually they'll have to take over Miguel as well. On the other side of that, Miguel is thinking that, you know, he's got the same idea, and eventually he'll be running everything because he's taking out the Serbs. But his grandma seems a bit more wise to it, and she's actually right about what Tommy's doing, but he thinks he's 2 steps ahead. Obviously he's not 2 steps ahead, and it's a mad chess match, but they don't know they're playing against each other. On top of that, obviously Tommy's sleeping with his sister and seems seemingly in love with his sister, Maria. I remember I said previous 2-3 episodes ago when Miguel had Janard in the club and he was looking at Maria a little weird. And in this episode, after taking some more drugs, which he shouldn't have been taking, he goes to kill Tommy, and then when he's outside, he sees Maria pull up, and now he's 100% aware Tommy is sleeping with Miguel's sister and he can use it against him. He takes a photograph and holds that there as well. So very interesting. Miguel on this one had a lot more involvement in this episode, which I thought was decent. You know what I mean? Get a bit of a heads up of what's going on. Other stuff in this, Claudia, her drug business to do with the private strip clubs is in full effect now. They're making a lot of money, but she brings in Shanti, Janard's missus, on this whole plan as well without Janard knowing. I have to say, man, I've said it previously, but I don't know who writes her scripts, but it's like some Shakespearean gangster business, and it just doesn't seem real. Like, there was a point in this where she's trying to teach one of the members loyalty. I think it's like Janard's right-hand man. And she's like, listen, you don't mess with me as a bitch, because you'll cease to exist. And I'm like, bro, no one talks like that. And then there's a part where she's speaking to Janard, and he's asking what he should do with the photograph. And she gives off like it sounds like she's reading off a script completely, which they are reading off a script, but the whole point of acting is to act like it's real in it and not like you're reading off a script. So I don't want to diss her too much, but acting's a bit shoddy, and I feel like she's took inspiration from Jukebox and not took the good things from her, which she should do. Also, like, when it comes to this program, listen, I'm here for the girl power thing and stuff like that. If it makes sense and it's realistic, that's fine. You know what I mean? The women can actually take over. The men have more of an ego, so the women can just go behind the scenes and take over. Because what I forgot to mention is, along with Miguel and Tommy, Claudia is also talking about taking over Chicago, but with Shanti and with her friend from school. But when they're having the conversation, it's like, it's very, I don't know, man. You know when they're trying to put a message in something, but it's so obvious, like virtue signaling kind of with the feminist business. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. There's a part in this where Claudia gets robbed in the strip club, like silently, by 2 guys, her and her friend. And when they get back on him, it's in the same place where he was, so I don't know why he stayed in there. And they call Shanti and she hits him because she's a boxer, and I'm just like, alright. And then there's another scene when she's boxing a man in the boxing ring, and she knocks him out. And I'm like, okay, you're trying to prove a point here, but realistically, she wouldn't be boxing a man, she'd be boxing a woman. And they know man getting punched by a woman, not getting knocked out, and just lying on the floor and giving the stuff back. I'm just saying, make it make sense, make it be more smart, use the weapons and stuff like that. But the guy at the end of the day, 200-pound man, just stop it. But that I digress. Obviously, Diamond, parole officer's on his case a little bit, wants him to do a speech and denounce CBI, which he does the speech. He doesn't denounce CBI in that speech, and he brings the little kid from the previous one and his mom, which all of it, you know, we knew that where that was going anyway. And by the time we get to the end of this episode and they're about to go on a date, she comes in the outfit, and I mean, you know what happens? It's power in it, so you know there's going to be some kind of sex. That's a given. But yeah, apart from that, man, I enjoyed the episode. Like I said, the structure of the episode's fine. The stories are fine. The acting, shoddy in some parts. The pacing of this one was good as well. This episode actually ends with the killing of the police. Obviously, you've got the police officers who Vic's working with, and the one guy who's been tailing them. Tommy's actually wise to it in this, so there's a scene where Tommy just looks across the road and is like, "There's a police officer think that we don't know he's following us," but he doesn't know that Vic is on that as well, and they get Vic to wear a wire when they're going to do the gang coalition, which he gets everything on the videotape. Well, on the tape, what he's got on. I think he's got like a wire and a chain around his neck. But Tommy sees the guy just before the episode finishes. He sees the guy as he's driving off. After he's just give Vic like, "Yo, I really enjoy working with you. I thought it was gonna be hard and stuff." And then he sees the guy's car. So when he goes to check on the guy, he runs around the corner and Vic's talking to him. Obviously, we know how the gang movies go. You need to prove that you're not a snitch because it looks weird that you're talking to a police officer. And Vic does do that, and he shoots him in the head, which now means I don't remember seeing him turn the wire off, but he might have because he put it in his pocket before he went to see the cop, which means he can just pin it on Tommy and say Tommy killed the police officer. But yeah, man, snitches get stitches and all that, man. I've been your boy, so I was coming like scrum shit. Think in the comment section. What do you think of this episode, man? Chicago's heating up. I thought it was alright, man. Maybe a 6 out of 10. I'll give it that. Run.